All right, guys. I don't know if anybody's watching on YouTube, but I am participating in this podcast tonight, poolside from beautiful Gulf Breeze, Florida. Wrapping up my my 1 week trip. For those of you that follow the program, it was originally going to be a Super Bowl trip mixed in with some Florida. But I decided to cancel the Super Bowl New Orleans experience for this time and just hang out in Florida for a week. I'm so glad I did. You know, we'll get more into the Super Bowl talk and our thoughts on that. But this is probably the least I ever looked forward to a Super Bowl in my life. And I've watched every single one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying that, man. I didn't. I felt like I was in the minority, and I just saw that it just came out. I mean, I don't know if this is just the NFL boosting the numbers, but I saw it's like quote unquote the most watched Super Bowl ever. So
Really?
Something's not adding up. Everybody hated it. Nobody was looking forward to it, but the viewership apparently was high.
Well, I think most Lion fans are like us. You know, I was pretty bitter after the loss, and I think that's where I'm coming from. But as you know, I came down to Florida, take a week, did some tourist trap things, went to St. Augustine, the oldest city in America, did a full day there. I mean, it was a really cool town. It is a big time tourist trap, but lots to see and lots of history there. That was on Thursday. Put in a lot of steps on Thursday.
Isn't St. Augustine extremely haunted?
It's supposed to be. It's supposed
to be. Yeah.
You didn't have no issues. You don't have a ghost following you back to Shiawassee County.
No, other than the black cat ran in front of me for all that's worth. But the big highlight was and as you know, we all know Matt loves Disney. He works for Disney for crying out loud. Yeah. So I got a chance, thanks to Matt, to participate in some of the Disney. We did Animal Kingdom and some great stuff there, man. It's just like all the other Disney resorts. I mean, Disney parks. I mean, it's laid out kind of similar. You know, they have like 4 different key areas you go to. We wanted to make sure we saw the safari and the Festival of the Lion King's a live show. It's kind of like a little mini Broadway stage show. That was very cool. And then saw Pandora. You know, what's it called, Matt?
Yeah, Flight of Passage. Yeah, the Avatar area.
Oh man, that Flight of Passage was unreal. You know, you really think you're flying through this damn place. I mean, it scared the pants off my wife. I mean, and you're just sitting on kind of a motorcycle as it takes you through Pandora.
I was gonna say, man, I didn't know that you still got down like that, riding roller coasters. And I mean, I remember last year on spring break, I rode it. Oh, what is it? I guess
this ride isn't. Yeah, not to cut you off. This ride isn't your typical roller coaster. You're sitting on what is the name of that the Avatar people ride?
I don't know, Banshee or something like that.
Banshee. Yeah, you're like sitting on a Banshee, and of course, the whole leading up to it, they like make you into an Avatar person. Like there's a whole show before, but then you're sitting on this thing in front of essentially an IMAX screen, and you're flying through. You're flying through the Avatar area and stuff like that, and it's
3D, man, and it's
3D.
It's intense. I told people afterwards. I said, "Man, I should have took a gummy for that one. It was awesome."
Wow, I remember Animal Kingdom. I went to Disney when I was probably 5 or 6, and Animal Kingdom, that giant tree or fake tree. What is that name?
Yeah. Tree of Life, isn't that what it's called?
I remember that's like probably what stands out to me the most. I remember thinking that was the coolest thing ever. It's a pretty sweet little thing they got built there.
Yeah, it really is.
As a kid, as a 5-year-old, it felt like it was like 400 feet tall. I don't know how tall it actually is, but that's the memory I have in my brain.
It's pretty big.
Impressive. Yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah, no, Animal Kingdom is kind of the one. So there's the 4 parks at Disney. Yeah, and I'm glad that you got to do that. I love. I mean, obviously we like to go as a family, but I love my sisters are going in a couple of weeks for their spring break. I was able to hook them all up with tickets, and other friends have asked me for tickets. I love being able to do that because, you know, I want to be like, so you can see why we love Disney so much. Go and save you a few bucks. But
100%.
Yeah, Animal Kingdom seems to be the one of the 4 parks that a lot of people say they skip over because maybe they're not big into the safari, or maybe they're not big into Avatar or some of the other stuff. So they're like, we'll kind of focus on the other parks. But there are some really cool and unique things there. Specifically, that safari. I don't know. I'm curious. I mean, we don't have to spend the whole time on this, but so I mean, the safari. I kind of talked about it, or maybe we were talking off air about it last week. But I mean, you go through an African safari. You're on like a bus, and there's animals all over: giraffes, elephants, zebras. I mean, Did you guys get any up close look at any of the animals?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the animals are right on top of you, man. I mean,
Right.
in fact, our safari Jeep or whatever you call it, we had to stop and wait for like a 5-minute break because the Jeep in front of us couldn't go forward because there was water buffalo blocking their way, so they couldn't get by. So we had to wait a little bit there. And it's kind of interesting how they get them. You know, one of the rangers shows up, has this big can of food, and he's tapping it, you know, making a noise. All of a sudden, the water buffalo knows it's food time, so he just got out of the road and headed out of there. It was cool. Yeah, that was fun. That was one of our favorite things. And wrapping it up, for me, this was kind of cool because I did the Expedition Everest. That is a true roller coaster ride, right. Kind of like Space Mountain, you know, that type of thing. And I was so lucky because my wife wouldn't go on it. She refuses to go on roller coasters. So I did the lightning pass for that. So I was going to use hers as I was going to go on it twice. Okay. Right. So I went on it and I'm riding with this other lady. She's telling me all about it, what we're going to do. And we get up to the top and then it starts coming backwards, you know, yeah. All of a sudden it stalls right in the middle of the mountain. It stops in its tracks. We're sitting inside the mountain. There's a Yeti up in front of us on the screen, you know, and we're just sitting there, you know, not nervous at all. It's not like we're upside down on a roller coaster, but we're sitting there for 10 minutes. Finally, it kicked into gear and we finished the ride, you know, and it gets pretty intense. It's fast. I get down to the bottom and I wanted to use the lightning pass of my wife's. So I get in line. They say, sorry, shut down for the rest of the day. So I was the last rider to be on that darn thing, man. So I lucked out. And that was like 2:30 in the afternoon.
At what point were you like, this is kind of a fun little twist? They had to stop. And then how quickly did you realize that it stalled out?
Right.
Yeah. Didn't realize. I realized it pretty quick that it stalled out, especially when the lady next to me goes, no, this isn't normal. By the way, if you hear the helicopter, I'm near an Air Force base here.
Yeah. Choppers flying overhead.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in the elements out there, but no, it sounds like, I know you were disappointed, obviously, to not be in New Orleans for a potential Lions Super Bowl, but it sounds like the alternate vacation was pretty good.
One final thought on that, and we'll let Jared get a catch up, but you know, I am getting up there in age. I don't like to admit it. I like to stay young in my mind, but after a full day at St. Augustine on Thursday, and then after almost 20,000 steps at Animal Kingdom, we were cooked. We were cooked big time, man. Yeah. So it wore me out.
It's a lot of walking. I've seen people post like memes or, you know, like funny jokes about like, if you told somebody to walk 18,000 or 20,000 steps, you know, in one day, they'd say, no, you're crazy. I'm not doing that. But you tell me to walk 18,000 or 20,000 steps at Disney. Sure. I'll do that anytime. So you don't realize how much walking you do when you're there. And you know, not super hot, you know, when you guys were there, but some of those days it's, you know, Florida pretty hot.
It was hot enough.
It's a workout.
Yeah.
Do they offer like scooters or like, I don't know, like the little mopeds you can rent, like, you know, in your typical like downtown city? Do they have anything like that? Or it's just, you got to accept the,
you know, that's a good call. No, I think they do. And I was getting a little pissed off at this one guy because I think he must be a veteran, right? A veteran of the parks, I'll say, because he had one of these scooters. He was with his wife and he was with his daughter. They were taking turns waiting in line, sitting on that scooter as they're going in, you know, up the mountain there to that Avatar thing. And I thought, that's kind of brilliant. You know?
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, that's beautiful. Matt, I know you're about to go on vacation, Matt. I mean, what's been going on with you? Anything of note?
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it last week. I've got vacation coming up in 2 days, but luckily last week, my final week of work before vacation wasn't too hectic. I know we talked about it. Usually that time leading up to a vacation, you get thrown a bunch of extra assignments or, you know, whatever, and nothing too crazy. So a pretty easy work week leading into vacation. But yeah, my wife and I, Thursday, we're heading out to Barbados. We're going for 5 days. My wife and I haven't done a vacation, just her and I, like that since our honeymoon 7 years ago, almost 7-8 years ago. You know, you have kids and work and other stuff. Life just flies by and we're like, man, we got to take a vacation, just you and I. So yeah, my parents are on their way down right now, actually, and they're going to hang with the kids for 5 days and we're going to sit on the beach and explore Barbados for 5 days. I mean, we're looking
What's the
forward to it.
longest? So, if you guys have never what's the longest you've been away? Is this gonna be like the longest you've been away from your kids, basically their entire life, or?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely Wesley, because we've only, I don't even know if we've done an overnight since he's been born. We've done a couple overnight things here and there, like when my parents are in town, or like when we're back in Michigan, one of our parents will like volunteer to watch the kids for a night so we can go do something. But no, this is definitely the longest we've been away. So it's a little, I mean, we're excited for sure, but it's a little, it's a little nerve wracking.
Day
leaving
like 3 or 4, you're gonna be like Ted and St. Augustine, man. You're gonna be like hearing kids' voices in your
Right.
closet and knocking on your door in your hotel room. So
Yeah.
that's gonna be awesome, honestly.
No,
man.
we're looking forward to
I've
it.
never had kids, but kids are awesome. But I mean, you got to be looking forward to a break.
Oh,
No,
need a
you
break
got to
once
get
in a
away.
while.
You got to get away. Yeah, you love them, but you need some time away. You got to remember why the kids came together, and go spend time with the significant other and be like, oh yeah, we do actually like to spend time, just you and I. So no, it's going to be fun. The island down there, so Barbados, one side is like very beachy Caribbean, the other side is like very kind of like
mountainous,
rugged. Not like mountainous, but like rugged and rocks and stuff, the way the ocean, the tides and stuff. So people have said like it's almost like two different islands in one island, and it's pretty small, so you can drive around. The food's supposed to be amazing. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. Apparently rum was invented in Barbados, so it's like known for the rum there. Like everything is rum.
Okay.
Like all the desserts and everything has rum. So,
nice.
Yeah, so it's going to be a good time. Looking forward to it.
You got to mix up some Caribou Lou. Shout out Tech Nine, man.
Yes,
that's a rap song.
That's
a
old
deep cut
school
reference.
I'm impressed that you know that. To be honest with you,
I know probably every word to that song. I don't know why. That's a song that I always loved. I got a quick little one, and it's kind of lame, but I've realized that this is kind of like the battles I fight on the daily basis. So just a little teaser for Tedertainment. I've been listening to this podcast called Hardcore History by Dan Carlin. It's all about like World War II, World War I. It's freaking awesome. So my mind's just been on military for the last like 2 weeks, pretty much. So that's a little teaser for the end of this. So I booked a hotel for my brother's wedding. Go through his whole tie the knot site. It's this Fairfield Inn in Frankenmuth. It's on March 22nd. Is when I booked it for. So I book it on Friday night. All of a sudden, I wake up on Sunday morning and I have a $250 charge from Fairfield Inn. I go, oh shoot! I booked it for the wrong goddamn day. So I stew on it for Sunday morning. I go to the wellness center, actually, Ted. I was missing you, man. I forgot you're on vacation. I was like, man, I might run into this guy here.
Yeah.
So with that wellness center, just walking the track, it's kind of stewing on it, waiting for them to open up at 8 a.m. So finally, they open up at 8 a.m. I give them a call. Her name, I'm not going to say her name. This lady answers, and, we go back and forth for a couple minutes. She basically says, hey, sorry, man, nothing we can do. That's kind of it already went through. If you would call us last night, like we probably could have done something for you. There's nothing we can do at this point. I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. I honestly, I didn't expect that to be the answer. It kind of sucks, but I guess what am I going to do? So I'm like, okay, I get it. So I hang up. I'm like fuming. I'm speeding up my laps around the wellness center here, just fuming with anger. I'm thinking to myself, dude, I am going to burn this Fairfield Inn like down. I'm going to make it my mission. I'm storming the beaches of Normandy. This is the Tet Offensive in Vietnam. I'm burning this place down. So I go to when I originally realized I placed it for the wrong day, Sunday morning, when I was going to the bathroom, I rebooked it for the correct day. So the second I get off the phone, I'm like, dude, I'm canceling this goddamn reservation. I'm not staying here. And I'm talking to people like Ted. I'm talking to friends that are that are going to go to the wedding. I'm like, I am spreading the word. We are not staying at this hotel. So I go on the website as soon as I get off the phone with her, cancel my reservation. Within 2 minutes of me canceling this reservation, so probably 10 minutes later, she calls me back, goes, hey, I just saw you cancel your reservation. I saw you guys got a wedding coming up here in March. And yeah, I did some finagling and moved some things around. I was able to get you that refund. So it's going to be coming back in a few days. And I'm just thinking to myself, you know exactly why this went down. You knew that you were messing with, Thanos and the 5 infinity rings on his gauntlet. And he was going to basically ring hell on this hotel. And you were probably going to lose 10 to 15 reservations potentially this weekend. So basically, in my world, how I teed it up with the military thing is No, I didn't fight in World War II. I wasn't at the Battle of the Bulge. I wasn't at Okinawa. These are like my everyday battles. This was my version of Iwo Jima, where we stuck it to the big guy. We screwed this hotel over. Not screwed him over, but we won. And those victories over the man, as I like to call it, you got to cherish them. I mean, they're rare. Ted, you have these victories all the time. You call the TV place. And they you're very good at this. This is not my bag. Honestly, I was just accepting, hey, I'm probably gonna lose my money on this reservation. So be it, but behind the scenes, I'm gonna make them pay for it, and they won't even know it. But I planted that flag on Iwo Jima, and we won. So do it that way you will. I think it's kind of inspiring that through my basically passive aggressive ways of canceling this reservation and working behind the scenes, getting people ready to cancel theirs, I ended up getting the refund on a mistake that I made that the hotel had nothing to do with. So do it that way you will.
There you go.
Yeah, you were about to take every shampoo bottle, every roll of toilet paper. You were about to take every towel, anything from the minibar. Well, minibar you probably get charged for, but
yeah,
that stuff just always makes me laugh because I'm with you, Jared. I'm not necessarily like a finagler. Not saying you are, Ted, but I'm not one of those that like if I went in to buy a car, I would get it for whatever is on the sticker price.
Exactly, me too.
I'm not going to sit there and like talk them down $5,000 or, do all this. If they tell me, nope, that's the price, I'll go, all right, well, here's a check, like I'm just not like that kind. So if they told me, nope, no refund, maybe I would try and put up a little bit of a battle, but ultimately I would accept it. But it makes me laugh because she says like, I was able to do this and this and this. And it's like, no, you could have just done this 20 minutes ago when we were talking. It's really not that big of a deal. Just give me a refund. Because I'm sure you gave her the spiel. Brother's wedding. I booked the wrong date.
Exactly.
Like, you couldn't just like do this the first time? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, that's nonsense. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. You've learned a lesson that you feel good about, don't you? That you were
customer is always right.
You were getting screwed, man.
When I got off the phone, I was like, man, I wish I would have just reamed her. It kind of felt pretty evil. I didn't. Like I said, I literally flatly was like, well, that's kind of weird, and that really sucks. But whatever.
Well, when you first were telling the story, you truly booked the wrong day. Is that really what happened?
I got charged. I got booked for that. Like I booked it basically for the very next night.
Okay. Because when you were first telling the story, I thought maybe sometimes they'll put it on your credit card right then for that room and charge you for it. But so that's what I thought where you thought you were going. But
and that's like my thing I said to her, I was like, how about an email? How about a text? How about anything that like there's a way to know that I booked it? Like they send your confirmation, but how about the time to check in? How about the hey, it's midnight, you haven't checked in, like any heads up or what do you want to do? It just was. I'm just glad it worked out because it still would have bothered me. It would still be like aggravating me to this day. Well, I would have never gotten over it. That's
a big hit. And I have to laugh a little bit with the term finagler. I like that, Matt. I don't know if that's quite accurate, but
it's honestly it's a skill. I don't have it. Like but like my mom has it. It just like those situations, the finagling with the car dealer or like a car dealer, like it makes my skin crawl. This phone call I had with this lady, it made my skin crawl. Like I can't get comfortable.
I got that skill from my mom. My dad, he would go ballistic. My mom would always get what she needed on something like that, and she'd kill the person with kindness. And then they just would do whatever they could, So yeah, well, that's a good lesson. That's good. And so you will be going to the wedding then.
I will be going, and I will be staying at the Fairfield Inn and Suites. So
still will be taking all the shampoo bottles and all the bars of soap.
All right. Well, this catch-up portion in this episode of the 3 Point Podcast is number 347. It's presented by the Memorial Healthcare Wellness Center. You brought it up, had a good workout there. Follow them on Facebook. Find out to save on a Valentine's couple special membership that they're promoting right now. All kinds of fitness classes, access to all the top-notch amenities, and that walking, running track, really, that's worth the admission itself for me. Also want to thank our other starting lineup of partners. They include AZee Branding Solutions, Jacobs Insurance Agency, Kori and Associates Real Estate Services, Nelson House Funeral Homes, Rivals Taphouse and Grille, Success Group Mortgage and Servicing, Shiawassee County Fair, and ALS of Michigan. And anytime you get a chance, stop into these businesses, whether you're buying insurance, need a mortgage, anything that we offer here, tell them that you listen to the podcast. It goes a long way. Well, speaking of going a long way, we're going to talk a little bit about the Super Bowl. We're recording this on Monday, but we're not going to break it down play by play since it was just a blowout, but we'll give some thoughts on some of the activities of Super Bowl licks right after this.
So you guys kind of teed it up in our little catch-up portion there that some people were super excited. Other people were trying to throw out the not so excited about this Super Bowl because it was a rematch from a couple years ago. People are saying they're sick of the Chiefs. There were all those storylines. For me, I was more on the side that you brought up, Ted, still feeling like the Lions should have been there. Still feeling like this should have been our year as Lions fans to see the Lions in the Super Bowl. So honestly, it was my wife's birthday. She turned 40. So, we were doing some stuff and, out enjoying. It was a beautiful day. We were out doing stuff. And I did not care. We were going to go out to eat. We decided to just get some DoorDash, but we were going to go out to eat. And I was like, I honestly don't care if I miss the first quarter. I'll get back. I'll tune in, whatever. I saw Alex Anzalone tweeted out.
Yeah.
The Anzalone family is watching Beauty and the Beast. Terrion Arnold tweeted out like a video saying like, this should be us. Right. I saw a couple of their Lions players kind of tweet out, similar stuff. I feel like the Lions community was having similar feelings around the Super Bowl. But I was kind of like you, Jared. I was interested in the game. The Chiefs are an all-time great team. Patrick Mahomes is an all-time great quarterback. We got to appreciate that stuff while they're still playing, right? It's the same reason people hated Kobe. People hate LeBron currently. Right. People hated Jordan. I'm not a Patrick Mahomes fan, but the dude is incredible. So we got to appreciate that stuff while, these great players are still playing. And I mean, yeah, we're not going to get into too many X's and O's necessarily, but man, he decided to play the worst game of his career in the worst absolute spot because, awful. Man, he was not good at all. Credit to the Eagles defense, though, I think. Credit to the Eagles defense.
Yeah, I mean, it was the best defensive performance I think I've ever seen. No hyperbole, honestly. They didn't blitz a snap, and yet it felt like they were sacking Mahomes every goddamn drop back. It was
four-man rush every play.
They're studs.
That's just crazy. That's crazy.
And I'm going to come back to this in about 5 minutes after we break down the Super Bowl. To me, watching that Eagles team, it really made me nervous about the Lions. That's a little teaser for a few minutes from now. Going back to the game, yeah, the Eagles are, they are freaking impressive, man. Jalen Hurts, it's time to put some respect on this guy's name. Everybody's been saying it all day. My favorite tweet of all last night was saying how Jalen Hurts getting benched in the national championship, then winning a Super Bowl and the Super Bowl MVP, that's the better version of the MJ, I got cut by the varsity team story. Right. We all know that that's even kind of BS. He basically didn't get moved up as a freshman. And instead they moved up a 6'10" center in MJ's place. This is the true adversity pushing through it. I still remember the interview right after the national championship when Tua came in at halftime and they won. And usually I'd be kind of pissed if this happened to me. And I think it was Holly Rowe interviewed him. And you could tell he was genuinely just happy for the team, happy they won, happy for Tua. And that goes a long way. And I'm looking at this guy. This is now 2 times in the Super Bowl where he's put on one hell of a performance, really saved his best for last.
He outplayed Patrick Mahomes both times.
Yeah.
He played better than Mahomes last time they played. The Chiefs just won.
He's a cool cat, man. I don't know how you don't like him. He's perfect with the media, doesn't say too much. Just a perfect leader for any team, really. I wish I could play for that guy, even if I'm the flipping water boy, which is what I would be. I just want to be that guy's water boy. He just is the man. I'm going to be a fan of his for a long time to come. And what you see is in the Super Bowl, and when he's truly healthy with that 2 weeks of rest, is with his legs, man, he's dynamic. I want to say he led the game in rushing. So it's just everything about Hurts. What more can we say about him? The defense, we just talked about it. Cooper DeJean. That was an electric little play that he made. Probably my favorite play of the game. He's as advertised. Sadly, we kind of passed on Cooper DeJean. We could have had him in the Lions uniform. We had Terrion Arnold instead, and we like Terrion Arnold, but DeJean's that guy. And he's got a little bit of electricity to him that Terrion Arnold just maybe doesn't quite have. But yeah, it just, to me, was just a dominating effort, shocking, honestly. And the Eagles' defensive line was really the difference in that game. And Jalen Hurts, didn't have much pressure on his shoulders. I felt like the Eagles defense was just taking care of it. And he just played a pretty damn good game himself, and they coasted to victory. What more is there to really say? It was just a dominant victory.
Yeah, totally dominant, and I can't agree more on Hurts. I mean, his story in the college to Oklahoma to a Super Bowl champion, MVP. I mean, he's the top. Would you say now he's probably a top 5 or 6 quarterback in the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, hard to argue with multiple Super Bowl appearances, not one ring. He's one of only like a handful of players, 5 or 6 players that has a Heisman Trophy. What was the stat? Now I should have looked it up because I was going to bring it up.
Heisman Trophy, Super National Bowl. Championship, Super Bowl MVP. Those 4 probably.
Yeah, those 4. It was like Charles Woodson is one, and I don't think Super Bowl MVP, but yeah, it was National Championship, Heisman, Super Bowl, and Jalen Hurts is one of like 6 guys. So pretty crazy.
Impressive. Well, Jared, why don't you bring in the Lion convo right now, because I've got a feeling I know where you're going to go, and I might be in agreement. We'll see.
All right. Real quick, I love the tease. I'm sorry to throw off your perfect segue. I just got 2 real quick things on Super Bowl that I got to get out. 2 quick little topics. Kansas City still trotting out Kelsey like he's a number 1 target. It's laughable. I love Travis Kelsey. Probably one of my favorite players that's ever played the NFL. I mean, what are we doing? They got to be looking themselves in the mirror going, what the hell were we doing? Like, I'm watching Mahomes get sacked, and I'm like watching Kelsey because I have all these parlays on him, and it's like he's not even out of his break. Like by the time Mahomes is getting sacked, I just thought that was kind of depressing. Just really sort of.
It's weird though. Yeah, it's weird though because he had a pretty good playoff